Hello and welcome. Today we'll be doing a morning practice. This is a series of poses that I find enjoyable in the morning and also some poses that are especially tight in the morning. So let's begin with a seated forward fold. Pressing our heels forwards, pulling our toes back, sit up nice and tall. Let's inhale up. Exhale, reaching forwards. If you can, grab onto the toes. Otherwise, you might be on the shins or on the floor, or just projecting your body forwards here. If you relax your head down, you might start to feel a back stretch. It can be rather intense. So I'd recommend keeping your chest up and keeping your chin from dropping down. Spending a few breaths here, opening up the hamstrings. And when you're ready, walking the hands back up, taking them behind you, countering this fold with a back bend. Shoulders are broad, head hangs back. Let's lift the chest up towards the ceiling, pushing the ribs forwards, taking deep breaths into the chest. Let your belly pull in and hollow out. One more deep breath. And relaxing the head. This time we're going to move into a back stretch. This pose can be especially tight in the morning, so be gentle. You will start by tucking the chin, lengthening the back of the neck, and starting to curve forwards. You can round the back in this pose. Slowly work your way into this pose. If you create too much sensation, you'll feel uncomfortable. Try to find a place that's enjoyable. Keep your heels pressing forwards, toes pulling back. If you're doing this practice later in the day, your back will be more warmed up and you'll be able to go much deeper. So for those of you, clasp your hands, interlacing the fingers, take the hands to the back of the head, and tuck the chin, curl all the way down. Maybe dropping even lower. So taking your upper body further forwards in this pose, we'll send the stretch down the back. Curling in towards your belly button, we'll keep the stretch nice and high up towards the neck. Try to breathe into the back and slowly uncurl. Lean to the right, tuck the feet to the left, coming up into a downward dog. Feet are hip distance apart, hands are shoulder distance, neck is loose and relaxed. A couple deep breaths here, warming up the legs. Feel free to cycle out the heels. Let's take a deep inhale, lift the right leg up, exhale, step the right foot between the hands, tuck the tailbone, and reach the arms up for Warrior One, Veerabhadra. So in this pose, we're focusing on tucking the tailbone or rotating our hips back, creating a flat belly here. We're sinking into the hips, letting it push the knee forwards as we drop further down. This is a stretch for our iliopsoas on the left side, which is on the front of the hip and runs all the way up into the low rib cage. 2 more breaths here. 1. And let's take the hands down to the mat. Step the right foot back, downward dog. Deep inhale, lift the left leg up. Exhale, step it between the hands. Tuck the tailbone, reach the arms up, pulling your belly in. Try not to dump weight into your lower back. We're tilting back here, starting from the hips. So keeping a straight line here, or as straight as you can. Using those exhales to help you sink a little bit lower into the pose, pushing the knee forwards. Make sure that your left knee does not pass your toes. Ideally, we keep the knee right over the ankle or right in that area. Two more breaths. Make sure that your right hip is pressing forwards here. Last one. And on your exhale, both hands come down. Let's take a vinyasa this time. So that means chaturanga and upward dog. Feel free to drop to the knees. Don't let the belly touch the ground. Elbows are across the body. Lifting the chest, shoulders away from the ears. Curl the toes under and send the hips back into downward dog. Let's step the right foot to the outside of the right hand, dropping down to the left knee. Feel free to stay on your hands here, or you can start to bend them and take the chest down lower to the ground. Once again, be gentle with yourself, as this is a morning practice. You want to go nice and slowly. Try to find a little bit less sensation than you would in a class later in the day. So paying attention to the knee here, we want to drive all of the weight from the heel up to the knee, so that presses the knee up over our shoulder. Last breath here. And let's come up onto the left hand. Let's reach back. Maybe you should send the hips back so that it's easier to grab on to the left ankle. Look over the right shoulder, sinking back into your hips. If this version is inaccessible to you, feel free to simply reach the right arm up into the air, looking up towards that right hand, or even taking the arm behind the back and really going for that twist. Let's come back with the right hand, releasing the left leg. Let's step the right knee back. Let's step the left foot forwards, keeping the knee over the ankle. Stay on the hands or start to bend the elbows, dropping down to the forearms if you can. Take your time getting here. You don't need to start out here, even if you can get here. Let gravity push you down. Feel your upper body heavy. Shouldn't be too hard if you just woke up. Relax the neck and the head.
Drive all the way into that heel and let it push that knee straight up over the shoulder. Last 2 breaths. And let's press back up onto the hands. Right hand stays on the ground. Maybe you want to send the hips back so that it's easier to grab on to the right ankle or foot. Sink back into the hips and look over the left shoulder. The more you sink into the hips, the deeper the stretch. Also, you can pull the ankle closer to the glutes. Once again, if this is inaccessible, you can just twist and reach the left arm up, looking towards the fingertips, or take the arm behind the back and really go for that twist. Pulling that left shoulder back, also twisting from the rib cage, and still sinking into the hips. Last breath. And releasing the leg, coming back with the left hand. Let's step the left knee back. Feel free to lift the knees for chaturanga or keep them right where they are. Elbows graze the side body, scoop the chest through, lifting the heart. And send the hips back to downward dog. So you can stay in downward dog as long as you like. I like to finish my morning practice out with one more hip opener. You might know this pose as butterfly. I like to get up against a wall to do this. Really takes the work out of the pose, makes it much more enjoyable, almost meditative. And in the morning, your mind can be very clear or still. So there's a couple ways to get into this. Make sure the heels are pressing together. Your back is flat against the wall. You can add the hands onto the knees, but if this is too much, you can always bring them in a little bit closer. Another way to increase the stretch in this pose is to pull the shoulder blades back and press them against the wall. Rotating the hips forwards, you'll feel your lower back lift off of the floor or the wall. You can still add a little bit of weight on the knees here with the arms. I like to close my eyes, lengthen the back of my neck, reaching up through the crown of my head. And maybe find a little bit of meditation here. If you want to work on meditation and yoga, this is a great way to save a few minutes in the morning since we're already so rushed, where you can move right from your yoga practice or your asana practice into your meditation.